Assalamu alaikum, my dear friends and fellows. How are you? I welcome you on my training channel. My name is Abdul Khalik, my dear friends and fellows. Look, making mistakes that is a human nature. Everybody makes the mistakes, and maybe nobody is without that at all. Everybody makes the mistakes, and that is quite natural. Nobody on earth maybe will be a person who does not make the mistake. As long as somebody is a human, as long as somebody is alive, there is every probability that this person will be doing either something good about which this person will be very happy and proud of, or doing another thing about which this person will be unhappy, my dear friend, and troubled as well. So I think that we need to understand this, we need to know that. And some of the time we make a blunder, a big mistake, which is not easy to forgive at all, which is not easy to take lightly at all, which keeps troubling us, which keep putting us into the pain, the psychological pain, the trouble, the mental torture we are seen giving to we ourselves, dear friends and fellows. That is indeed a very critical position indeed, situation indeed. And we need to do something serious. We need to do something right in a situation like this one. Today we have decided to talk about, how can we relieve the mental torture, the mental pain, which our mind is suffering or which maybe we ourselves are providing to we ourselves, and we need to relieve ourselves from a pain, from a trouble like this one. After a lot of research, after a very careful consideration, we have come to understand, we have come to notice that there are 12 items which must be taken care of, which must be understood, which must be practiced, which must be kept in the mind if at all we find ourselves in a situation like this one. Now let's look upon those 12 things. What are these, by the way? First of all, it is focus on your emotions. We need to focus on our emotions because this is an emotional trouble, and for that reason we need to put our attention, we need to focus upon our emotions so that the process could be started, the process of getting rehabilitated, the process of relieving ourselves from this big pain, the process could be started. We need to take this thing, my dear friends and fellows. Focus on your emotions now, because acknowledging and processing your emotion, it is the first most important thing, the first basic thing, without which we can't do anything else at all. So for all that reason, we need to know, we need to acknowledge our emotions. And now the second is acknowledge the mistakes out loud. Acknowledging the mistakes out loud, because it does provide us with some sort of catharsis. So for this reason, go into a place where there is nobody around and speak a bit loud, as loud as it does not let the other people listen it, because otherwise they will start thinking, they will start doubting the health of our psychology and our mental health. So for that reason, it is better to detach ourselves, go a bit away, and then there, you know speak out loud. What Acknowledge the mistakes out loud, and that is the number two. Number three is think of each mistake as a learning process. Remind ourselves again and again, again and again, time and again, that a person does learn from their mistakes, and the learning in the practical life, it is usually done by the mistake. A human being does make a mistake first and take a lesson then. So if at all I have made a mistake, I think in that case, I think it's not that bad, it's not that bad, it's not very unusual. So for this reason, I think that I need to consider it. I need to take it as my learning process, which will be of great help in my life to come. So, for that reason, just take it as a learning process. And then the fourth is give yourself permission to put this process on hold. Give yourself permission to put this process on hold. How can we do that? Imagine, just in the imagination, that you are carrying a box, a jar, and you have taken out that inner critic, or you have taken out that particular thing which is that particular thought which is disturbing you. Put it into that jar and now close the lid upon it. Put it aside and tell yourself, tell that jar, okay, I will come back to you as and when I feel the need of it. But at the moment, take a rest and leave me for a while. So that is, you know, that is give yourself permission to put this process on hold. Now the number 5 is have a conversation with your inner critic, and we can start a dialogue with what, with our inner critic. Journaling can help you understand your inner critic. We need to write it. Take a bundle, take so many of the paper and start writing. We don't have to write down each and every paper, but we need to keep writing with the intervals, with the breaks, and we need to keep writing. Whenever you find a free time, you can start writing. Journaling can help you understand your inner critic and develop self compassion. Write out a conversation between you and your inner critic. We need to write a conversation. What the kind of conversation which is going on between me and my inner critic, I need to keep writing. I need to write it down. Journaling can help a lot. Journaling can help you understand your inner critic and develop the self compassion. Write out a conversation between you and your inner critic. Now, identify thought patterns that are sabotaging your ability to forgive yourself. Identify thought patterns that are sabotaging your ability to forgive yourself. Now, the number 6 is notice when you are being self critical. Notice when you are being self critical. You might be surprised by what your inner critic says. By what your inner critic says. Notice when you are being self critical. Mean, I am self critical at the moment, so I need to notice it so that I should start listening to it. I should start paying attention to that so that I could better understand. And now the seventh is quiet the negative messages of your inner critic. Quiet the negative messages of your inner critic on the one side of the paper, and then on the other side of the paper we need to negate all that, like one advocate, a lawyer in the court is trying to unprove the whatever has been stated, whatever has been claimed by one side, by the opponent lawyer. So in this manner we need to act as a lawyer, advocating ourselves and negating all that, disproving all of that. And now the seventh is quite the negative messages of your inner critic on the one side of the, and now the eighth is get clear about what you want. We need to get clearer. We need to get clear about what I want out of this situation. What I want out of this situation. And now the ninth is, that is take care, they take your own advice. We are often seen advising our friends, our family members, our loved ones, and we are seen seeking advice, but here we have to advise ourselves about what to do. And now the 10th is quiet playing the tape, and take deep breaths, go for a walk, reduce stress and anxiety. Take deep breaths and go for a walk. Take deep breaths or start cleansing your home. So that is quite playing the tape. The tape is playing inside our mind, repeatedly telling us what wrong we have done. Here we need to quite playing that tape. And now the 11th is show kindness and compassion toward ourselves. Showing the kindness and the compassion toward ourselves. Don't be that much harsh with we ourselves, and the self compassion is very very important. Every time we face a failure, every time we have suffered a setback, every time we feel like I'm inadequate in a cases in a situation like that one, being warm and being understanding toward ourselves, that is called the self compassion. We need to compare, we need to practice the self compassion here. And the 12th and the last is seek professional help. Seeking of the professional help. If you think that after all that it did not work as good as it should have worked, so in a case like this one, it becomes very important indeed that we need to go for a professional help. So let's have a very very quick revision of whatever we have stated during the past few minutes. What are these 12 tips about forgiving ourselves, about forgiving ourselves, and about relieving ourselves from a pain which we have been suffering? Let's look upon all that and let's have a very very quick revision about all that. It is focus on your emotion, and we need to because it is an emotional trouble, so we need to focus upon our emotion. Acknowledge and process your emotion. That is the step number one. And now the step number two is acknowledge the mistake out loud. We need to go out and speak loud. We need to keep talking a bit loud whatever wrong I did, and because it will provide us with the much needed catharsis. Now the number three is think of each mistake as a learning experience. Every mistake is actually a learning experience, and we need to think like that one. Now the fourth is give yourself permission to put this process on hold by imagining like you are putting whatever is disturbing you into a jar, and now put that jar aside and tell yourself, okay, I will come back to you. I will come back to it as and when it is needed. Now the fifth is have a conversation with your inner critic. We need to talk with our inner critic. Journaling can help you understand your inner critic. Yes, we need to keep writing and develop self compassion and write out a conversation between you and your inner critic. That is so important. Identify thought patterns that are sabotaging your ability to forgive yourself. Now, the sixth is notice when you are being self critical. You might be surprised by what your inner critic says, and notice when you are being self critical. Pay attention to that, and then you might be surprised by what your inner critic says. Now, the seventh is quite the negative messages of your inner critic. Quite the negative messages of your inner critic on the one side of the paper, and on the other side of the paper, being an advocate of yourself, defend yourself, write the counter thesis, answer those with the logic, with the reason, with the emotion, with every way you can. And write on the one side of the paper whatever your inner critic is saying, and then still on the other side of the paper, I need to tell myself what is wrong here, and why I don't need to be blamed that much, why I don't need to be put into that much of the pain, the psychological pain at all. And now the ninth is now the eighth is get clear get clear about what you want. We need to ask ourselves, yes, what do I want? And now the ninth is Take your own advice. We are often seek advising our friends and loved ones, and we are often seen seeking the advice from them. Here it is totally different. Here we need to advise ourselves, and that will be a very good experience. And now the tenth is quite playing the tape. Yes, quite playing the tape inside the mind, which is telling us again and again that we are not worthy, that I am not worthy at all, that I am not good at all, that I am a bad person, that I am incompetent person, that I am not a person good at all. So quite playing this tape. And what how can we quite playing this tape? Take the deep breathing and take the deep breath, and then go for a walk. Take the deep breath and then start cleaning your house. Take the deep breath and start watching the video. Take the deep breath and I call your friend. And now the 11th is show kindness and compassion to yourself. Showing the kindness and the compassion to yourself, that is very much important indeed. And now yes, because if at all the kindness and the compassion, if at all is it meant for the other people, why it cannot be meant for we ourselves? As for the self compassion is concerned, it says that every time you feel inadequate, every time you feel a failure, every time you suffer a setback, all what is needed here is that we need to show warmth and understanding toward we ourselves, and that is how show kindness and compassion. Now the 12th and the last is seek professional help. If all of that has failed and nothing did work, so there is one thing left, and that will be a very solid answer. But ever you have been practicing in the past few weeks or days, it will be of great help indeed. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khair.